불멸의 전사 2.
What's up, guys? We're back here at Pro League 2016 with Tasteless and Wolf.
Yeah, things are all tied up 1-1 here now with Deer taking that second win.
Yeah, you see Seats down there with the sad face crying. That's because he got wrecked.
That he did.
And we're going to go into a TVT now, BrAvO against Ryung.
This is going to be, I said the PvP was my favorite match of the night. This is probably my second. This is going to be really good because both these guys are gods of TVT. Ryung, most famous for his TVT when he was on the team Slayers a long, long time ago. And BrAvO, obviously a good TVT player himself, has played a lot of TVTs on good Terran maps. So, you know, this is one of those games where I'm like, it could go either way. There's not a clear favorite.
I think I'm leaning a little bit towards BrAvO here. He's a great player. Ryung is, if you've been watching Starcraft for a long time, you would definitely know who he was. Very dominant, especially in Wings of Liberty. This guy actually mentored by Slayer's Boxer when he was young, but it's 2016 now, and I don't know if he is the caliber player that could take on somebody. I mean, I'd say BrAvO is within the realm of somebody who could beat, but maybe there is a skill difference here. Yeah. At least that's my take.
I think most people would agree with you. I've seen a lot of Ryung games in recent times that make me think that he absolutely could do this. And, you know, he played a game recently versus SOS where SOS all-inned him and he made like all the right moves. He still died, but he barely lived. Like, he almost, like, he barely didn't live. Is what
he died, but he barely lived.
Like,
it's like a dark metaphor. Like, it's like a dark metaphor for, like, what kind of human being he really was. Don't be like that, guys. Before you die, don't just barely live.
Yeah, like, just live your life like live every day like it's your last day. But no, he almost lived, and like there were some really smart moments there, and he barely died. Is what I'm trying to say. Like SOS barely killed him because he made like a really smart move with the Warp Prism, and I know some of you guys remember this game. But anyways, I look at Ryung and I'm like, I think he's really in shape right now, and the MVP team as a whole is trying to coming back together.
Well, I mean, these guys are trying really hard here. MVP. They really want this, and you know, it's kind of, MVP is actually one of the teams I just really love. They got a lot of these old classic players, and then there's some newer upcoming players, but they really banded together. They're trying to make this work. They're oftentimes regarded as in a completely lower tier compared to some of these other teams, but
they're one of the oldest Korean esports teams.
It's like Veterans Club or something. You know what I mean? These guys have all had huge histories, especially back in Wings of Liberty, and here they are now.
I mean, MVP is the team that always gets the best talent for a new esport in Korea. Whether it's Dota 2, Heroes of the Storm, they have the best team. It's on a 40-game winning streak right now. I mean, it goes on and on. Only GTR and I go in for Ryung here. I gotta say, I really think he's gonna take it, but this one is so hard to predict. Like, I wrote it, erased it, wrote again, erased it. You know, I was like, not sure, but I decided to go with my gut here.
I mean, let's see what happens. I have the worst prediction record here at Pro League, so maybe I can keep that going right now. In the upper left, in the red, he's BrAvO. And in the bottom right, in the blue, it's Ryung.
Ryung, the TVT sniper, even for Slayers back in the old GSTL leagues. A player used specifically for TVT in the past and was very famous for that. And like you said, a student of Boxer, along with his more successful teammate, MMA. And these Terran players really all worked together, grew together, and even built like the Blue Flame Hellion TVT meta that even got nerfed after an MLG because it was so strong. These are really intelligent players, but like you said, are they on the class? Are they on the caliber of some of these other Kespa Terrans that have been playing since Brood War on Kespa teams, like in Pro League for Kespa? You know, most people would say, no, they're just not quite there right now. You know, this is 2016. This is not Slayer's era. This is not early days of StarCraft 2. This is the strongest, highest level StarCraft 2 we've ever had in Korea. especially with the region locking and all the Koreans having to come home, like Ryung, for example, who was one of the Koreans who was playing overseas.
I think it's great, too, that we have the region lock set up the way it is. So we can have all the Koreans competing against each other, and they're in this intense environment where we're actually going to have the best StarCraft. But if you're like a European or North American, you get to compete within your own scene, and we can actually evaluate, okay, in that region of the world, how, you know, who is actually the best.
Yeah, that's very well said. Like, Korea was always the hardest region, even when players were traveling overseas, but now you're forced in this even more intense environment. And, you know, people say all the time, the harder the conditions, like the more people evolve, right? I mean, even like species of animals evolve in harsher conditions faster because they have to survive. And I feel like the play styles of these players in a new expansion kind of breeds that same level of change and innovation.
Well, we got a Reaper coming out now. And it looks like here for Ryung, his factory's going to finish up going right in that starport.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what we had in our previous TVT. It's Ryung who goes for the faster gas here. Second gas just barely spotted there, but he's not mining from it anymore. As BrAvO does come over here to try to get a scout. Doesn't grab a kill with that Reaper either, but he was trying. And it looks like it's probably going to be a Hellion Marine drop, potentially, with this starport from Ryung. Although he doesn't have much information himself, so he might just make a safety Viking, and is in fact now going for a Widow Mine. So we could even see a Widow Mine Marine drop. Both types of drops we've been seeing a lot in TVT over the past few weeks.
Well, that's one thing that's kind of funny about when you see somebody doing a build like this, is you still are not totally clear. Wow, that was a funny looking
weird animation.
That was a weird animation. It looked like he actually went inside of a wormhole and disappeared. But to what I was saying earlier, yeah, I mean, when you see them going for that style, you know they're getting a fast starport. You still don't necessarily know if it is a drop, what kind of drop it's going to be.
Yeah. Fast eBay for BrAvO. Like, he's really taken all the precautions here. He's like, not even a Banshee will scratch me. Look at the scan, too.
Oh.
He sees the pickup. Like, he could not be more prepared, Tasteless, for this drop that's coming across the map right now. And a Hellion will be like the pilot light here, like the spotter to see like which is the best location to drop, like where are his units. But you know, numbers matter a lot here, and right now Ryung obviously has the better ones at the natural. He's going to force this cancel on the turret, going to force the evac.
Now note that he did not drop in the main here. This was actually a pretty conservative BrAvO. You know, you win big if you go in the main and you pull it off, because you're going to get a lot more SCVs and you're going to punish him pretty badly. But he played it safe. He wants to be able to drop in here and ideally pick up and pull out.
And I like this choice because he knows that BrAvO knows. Like, he knows that he was scanned. So this is a smart conservative move, as you said. With the Viking out here now, it's going to be tough to actually continue this. He even saves the Widow Mine, not even wanting to trigger that there.
You could see he was trying to bait the Viking into the Widow Mine and maybe keep control of this location for a little bit further. But good play there by Ryung, because he picked up, he got back out, he didn't lose the medevac. And, you know, dropping like this, it's always a double-edged sword, because if you lose the medevac and everything inside it and don't do an incredible amount of damage, then you're behind.
Yeah, you're losing on both fronts then.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's taking this even a step further because he's committing to the Banshee Cloak. So, like, he really needs to find some damage with all the gas. He's committed to this. And it's going to be a bit of a surprising late Banshee because BrAvO didn't scout a tech up, although, as I say, he scans it. Again, perfect on the money, knows everything that's coming next.
I don't think there's anything up here to defend that.
No,
right?
he does not. Like, and he did scan just now, so he's got this one scan.
He actually cloaked a little bit sooner than I would have expected. Normally you want to cloak at the last second that you see like a Viking, for instance. So he's over here now, getting some SCVs, 4 kills already, not bad. Marines coming in here, but he's staying out of range.
He knows that there's a scan there, you can see that. So he's like trying to be as careful as possible with this Banshee. The second Banshee is coming across, and he will have, you know, a turret complete. Actually, that's not a Banshee, that's the medevac. Looks like he's got another Banshee at a different location. Sees at this position here on the starport. He's even going to poke at this depot, but I'm curious to see how much the second Banshee is going to get done, because I don't know if he actually made a second turret at the natural.
Well, important to note here, he might, oh my God! Okay, he actually killed the Viking. I was about to say, I think the medevac might be taken out here. Meanwhile, the Liberator coming here for BrAvO. Nothing to defend just yet. The Cyclone coming up, and it's going to be a little bit tricky. He's got to get the right angle on this Liberator.
Yeah, just like the Gumiho TVT earlier, you know, this late Cyclone is so good versus these Liberators. He needs to react, and you know what? I think he might take it out. Yeah, he will. He maintains vision.
Good job there by Ryung, actually taking that out. It's funny because, normally we saw the Cyclone made pretty early, and then you don't make it. But, yeah, you can make it later on because later on Harass is an option, so later on Cyclone can be very strong.
Yeah, Ryung is taking a pretty massive lead in this game. He's down 3 workers right now, but in every other way, like he's got a much larger army. I think he's setting up to do a 2-base push. He hasn't made a 3rd CC. Ooh, this is going to be a bit risky here. He flies into where the scan was with the Banshee because the Widow Mine was there. If Ryung is going to go for a 2-base push, he really needs to hit it hard and needs to hit home with it because BrAvO already has a 3rd CC. He has double upgrades coming out. He is starting to get powered up extra bases, extra barracks. He's getting ready to this point where his economy will actually take off once he lands the 3rd CC and gets that 3rd base saturation. So this 2-base pressure here from Ryung, as I said, really needs to hit hard. It needs to find some serious damage. This is the advantage he has. He's almost doubling the army supply of BrAvO, and he better make that count. And the window is closing quickly.
Well, it looks like he's going to come up here now, and they're the bottom left. The Medivacs are coming up, and they're probably going to be dropping into the main here. And this is a good location because if BrAvO's expanding to the upper right, he might not have the units necessary to defend
my
this.
God, Tastes the Cyclone's going to find this drop with 2 tanks. Going to force him to unload, but Ryung has his own units nearby.
Okay, good save there. Actually destroyed the Cyclone instead of just trying to book it and run out of there.
This opens up a drop opportunity, though, and if Ryung gets all these units out, this could be disastrous. There is 1 siege tank here, and 2 more about to drop out, but they're not in siege mode.
Yeah, and the Marines are stimming and coming forward, targeting down the tanks that are sieged up.
Uh-oh, this is not a good exchange here for BrAvO. The Cyclone coming in to try to help out. Might be time for Ryung to leave, though, once he gets this tank. Oh, nice save by BrAvO. And actually, a fight that started out well for Ryung went sour there. Ouch.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the case. Ryung's going to get his 3rd base up over here, and he's going to keep dropping. There are SCVs being transferred here. We don't have a ton as far as defense goes. They're just infantry in here, no tanks.
Yeah.
As far as tank count goes right now, they're pretty even. BrAvO with 3 tanks to the, well, now it's 4 to 3. So BrAvO with 4 tanks to the 3 here.
Yeah.
For Ryung.
Ryung has twice the Marines, though, but they don't have the best upgrades. So again, he has this window of time where he needs to find some damage. Because he's never going to catch up in upgrades unless BrAvO makes a mistake, like forgets his armory or something like that. He is starting the armor now, but 2 armories on the way for BrAvO, in fact. Oh, Ryung double-prong harass here. Going to hit the natural from behind, and then going to go over here and hit the 3rd base with this stim bio.
Nicely done. Takes out the tank. Coming in now. He will begin massacring these SCVs. A scan here. He sees the armies coming forward. Is he going to go for the command center? No. He's going to play it safe. Looks like possibly back up.
BrAvO doesn't have combat shields, which is something I guess Ryung doesn't maybe realize. But that could have been a disastrous situation. These tanks are still finding damage here at the natural. BrAvO going to hit his own drop, though, at the 3rd base. Ryung doesn't have anything nearby. He's got some units over here at the natural, but he's going to need to respond quickly, or he's himself going to take a lot of damage. This is such a cool TVT we're watching here.
Well, yeah, it's BrAvO, going, hold up. We got another attack over here. He's going to stim, he's going to come in now. And because he's been dropping, Ryung has so much, there wasn't anything immediately here to defend. He can pick up, and now he's going to try to make a beeline over here, possibly to the main, but he can abuse that cavity area and keep that medevac down there to drop later on.
Oh, looks like Ryung is on point, though. He stops the dropship, and this harass continues. He kills an armory. There is a spare, so he can continue his 2-2 upgrades, but that's going to really affect, obviously, his tank upgrades. And Ryung, make no mistake, he's down in bio upgrades for a few more seconds here, but he's finding damage with the larger army, and it's consistent damage. He's finding more damage than BrAvO is at every turn.
BrAvO could fall apart here in this next attack. He does not quite... He might not have enough. It'll depend exactly on how Ryung opts to engage and where he does choose to engage. You can see he already has his tanks being held by the medevacs.
Double the bio here for Ryung.
Yeah.
Same tank count. A lot of these units in the medevac as well, so that's 8 Marines that are not in this fight, and he's going to commit. Down go the siege tanks, and he targets down, and BrAvO's on the run. And this may just be a game here. He's going to catch the siege tank for free as well.
He's pulling up now. He's going for the command center. So many Marines being gunned down. The SCV's being killed as well. And if he takes out this command center, he can then go up into the main.
I think he's just won this game.
Yeah, I think he did it. It was actually very nicely done. Drops over here on the tanks, but Ryung already prepared, backs up and covers that location.
Good micro from BrAvO, all things considered, but his units were just not ready for that attack. He shakes his head in frustration here as the last of his tanks get targeted down. They're still in range. And he's going to have to type out here. Ryung is going to put MVP into the lead.
There it is, GG. Nicely done there by Ryung. A very impressive game, I gotta say.
Really well done.
And this is putting our MVP team in a pretty good spot, man.
Yeah.
They are 1 win away from being your victors here today.
Yeah, now, you know, we're going to go into... Oh, Ryung is so happy with himself. And I got to say, like, for a player who was basically, since Axiom disbanded and all those Slayers players kind of became homeless for a while, he was kind of in stasis for a while. And he's one of the players I'm looking for in Code A next season. Like, this guy is good enough. He may be able to get Code S coming up, going into the summer season.
He was Code S before. He can definitely do it again.
I think he can. And now we're going into, it could be the last map of this matchup if BrAvO takes it. It's going to be BrAvO versus Armani going on to Frost. So a larger map for this ZVP. And Armani needs the win if we're going to go to an ace match.
Well, let's see what happens. I got to say, very pleased with that performance there by Ryung.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, guys, MVP, they've been working really hard. And although MVP, I think, is kind of looked at as a lower tier team in Korea, you got to look at the big picture of what MVP is in esports. Okay, that's like, they're godlike in Dota.
Yeah. Best Heroes of the Storm team.
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm team, undisputed best. So
they made two of the most famous League of Legends teams that were sponsored by Samsung, actually, ironically, as it is in this matchup. But like, they find the talent first. They made some of the best StarCraft 2 players at the beginning, like Dong Regu.
Absolutely.
Genius was on MVP for a long time. You know, this is a team of badass players who were also GSTL champions.
And they are wanting to come back. I mean, that's what's important to keep in mind here. I mean, they're not satisfied with where they were last season. And
they have a name sponsor as well now, like Chicken Maru. That's a big sponsor for them to have. Hot Six has kind of been their sponsor forever. Hot Six, one of the best esports sponsors of all time.
For sure.
But now they've got like a big name sponsor in Chicken Maru. They've got to get results to back that up, you know, to keep their sponsorship and to, you know, to continue to do well. And this is a good start if they could beat Samsung tonight. And they're 1 win away from doing just that.
Can they do it, though?
That's the question, man. If neither BrAvO or Armani have seen a lot of play in Pro League recently.
That's right.
And they're not in individual
the thing
leagues.
is, I don't know if that means it's going to be a close match. I have no idea.
Yeah, we just don't know.
We just don't get to see them very much. So it's going to be funny to see how exactly this is going to turn out now. I don't know, man.
I want to lean towards BrAvO, to be honest. Like, when I think about these two players, even over like the last 2 years, BrAvO has just been doing, you know, he's been in Code S a few times, he usually falls out in the round of 32, but the fact that he gets into Code S, you know, a few times is pretty telling that he's...
If I had to pick one, and I did because we do predictions, I go with BrAvO.
Yeah,
so, but like we were saying with Armani, we just don't know a ton about this guy. And
yeah, I made a joke the other day that he was retired, and a lot of people got really upset. Like, oh, he's still there. Like, but he just doesn't play.
How could you?
A lot of the time he gets fielded as fourth, which usually players will be picked fourth because of the map. Like, it just turned out that map was the fourth map. But sometimes I see Armani's fielded fourth a lot of time where I feel like I'm like, Stork's like, I hope we don't get there. You know, I hope that, like, if he has to play, it's not because of him. We need to rely on him as the fourth player, but like, we hopefully, if he goes to the fourth match, it's because they're going to maybe beat Armani, then we go to the ace match, because he's not fielded that often. When he is fielded, it doesn't go to the fourth match sometimes because Samsung, you know, wins early or something like that. I don't know. I just don't have as much confidence in him. He's a player that's been around for a long time. He did qualify for Star League last season, fell to the hands of a Protoss there. I can't remember which one for the life of me right now.